The whispering shadows. The canopy above Blair Dame wove itself into a tapestry of darkness, each twisted branch reaching down like gnarled fingers seeking to ensnare her auburn hair. Moonlight filtered through in scattered silver coins, casting dancing shadows that seemed to pulse with their own malevolent life. The forest had been calling to her for weeks now, not with words, but with something far more insidious: dreams, visions, the sensation of being watched from just beyond the edge of sight. Her boots crunched softly against the carpet of decaying leaves, each step measured and deliberate. Blair had trained her entire life to be precise, to channel her fighting spirit into calculated movements, but tonight felt different. Tonight the very air seemed to thicken around her like syrup, and her usual confidence wavered like a candle flame in a draught. "I know you're here," she called out, her voice carrying clearly through the oppressive silence. "I've felt you watching me, following me. Whatever game you're playing, I'm done with it." The response came not as words, but as a sound that made her blood run cold, a soft, wet sliding noise, like something massive dragging itself across the forest floor. Blair's hand instinctively moved to her hip, fingers closing around the hilt of her ceremonial blade. The weapon had been blessed by monks in the mountains of her homeland, its steel forged with ancient rites meant to ward off evil. She had never believed in such superstitions before, but the past few weeks had shattered many of her assumptions about the world. A twig snapped to her left, then another to her right. Whatever stalked her was circling, testing her defenses, learning her patterns. Blair pivoted slowly, keeping her back straight and her breathing steady. In the ring she had faced opponents who towered over her, who possessed strength that could crack stone. But those had been human adversaries, bound by the laws of physics and mortality. This thing, whatever it was, felt different. Older, hungrier. "You're afraid," came a voice that seemed to emerge from the darkness itself, neither male nor female, but something caught between the two. "I can taste your fear, little fighter. It's exquisite." Blair's grip tightened on her blade. "Fear is just another opponent to overcome, and I've never lost a fight." A sound that might have been laughter rippled through the trees, though it held no warmth or humor. "Fight? Oh, my dear child, this isn't a fight. This is a harvesting." The shadows around her began to shift and coalesce, taking on a form that defied comprehension. It was tall, easily 8 feet, with limbs that seemed to stretch and contract like liquid mercury. Its face was a void within a void, save for 2 pinpricks of cold light that might have been eyes. When it moved, the air itself seemed to recoil from its presence. "What are you?" Blair demanded, drawing her blade in one fluid motion. The steel sang as it left its sheath, and she was surprised to see it gleaming with a faint, otherworldly light. "I am hunger," the creature replied, its voice now coming from multiple directions at once. "I am the space between heartbeats, the pause between breaths. I am what comes when hope dies and despair takes root." Blair circled slowly, keeping the creature in sight as best she could. Its form kept shifting, making it difficult to judge distance or trajectory. "You've been feeding on fear, haven't you? That's why you've been haunting my dreams. You're trying to break me down, make me easier prey." "Clever girl." The creature's voice held a note of approval. "Yes, fear is my sustenance. But not just any fear will do. I require the terror of the strong, the desperation of those who have never known defeat. Your fear, Blair Dame, will be particularly nourishing." She lunged forward without warning, her blade cutting through the air in a perfect arc. The steel passed through the creature's form like it was made of smoke, but where it touched, the entity recoiled with a sound like steam escaping from a kettle. "Interesting," the creature mused, its form solidifying slightly. "That blade carries more than steel. Faith, perhaps, or simple stubborn will." "Both," Blair replied, settling into a defensive stance. "My grandmother always said that the strongest weapons are forged in the heart, not the forge." The creature's laugh was like breaking glass. "Grandmother's wisdom, how quaint. Tell me, child, what did grandmother say about monsters that exist in the spaces between thoughts, about things that feed on the very essence of what makes you human?" Blair felt a chill run down her spine, but she kept her voice steady. "She said that monsters are just bullies with better costumes. And I've been dealing with bullies my entire life. Such spirit, such delicious defiance." The creature began to circle her again, its movements becoming more erratic, more hungry. "But you still don't understand what you're facing. I am not some thug in an alley or opponent in a ring. I am the thing that whispers in your ear when you're alone at night, the shadow that moves just beyond the edge of your vision. I am the doubt that creeps in when you're at your weakest." As it spoke, Blair noticed something. The creature's form became more solid, more defined when it spoke of fear and doubt. But when she had challenged it, when she had shown defiance, it had wavered. Understanding dawned on her like sunrise breaking through storm clouds. "You're afraid," she said, her voice filled with sudden realization. "That's why you've been stalking me from a distance. You're not sure you can take me in a direct confrontation." The creature's form flickered, and for a moment Blair could have sworn she saw something almost human in its features. A flash of uncertainty, of vulnerability. "Impossible," it hissed. "I am fear incarnate." "I do not." "You do," Blair interrupted, taking a step forward. "You're terrified that you've finally found someone who won't break, someone who sees you for what you really are, a parasite, a scavenger that feeds on weakness." The creature's roar shook the very foundations of the forest, sending birds exploding from their roosts in a cacophony of wings and frightened cries. When it charged, its form had become solid enough to snap branches and crush undergrowth beneath its weight. Blair didn't retreat. Instead, she met the charge head-on, her blade singing through the air in a complex pattern that her sensei had taught her years ago. The steel bit deep into the creature's flesh, or whatever passed for flesh in its twisted anatomy, and this time it didn't pass through like smoke. The entity shrieked, a sound that seemed to come from the very fabric of reality itself. "How?" it gasped, black ichor dripping from the wound. "How are you able to?" "Because I'm not fighting you with just my blade," Blair said, pressing her advantage. "I'm fighting you with everything I am. Every moment of training, every victory, every time I've gotten back up after being knocked down. You want to feed on my fear, you'll starve waiting." The creature staggered backward, its form beginning to lose cohesion. This is not possible. I have fed for centuries. I have brought low warriors and kings, philosophers and poets. What are you?" Blair smiled, and for the first time since entering the forest, she felt truly in control. "I'm Blair Dame, and I don't lose." She struck again, this time with a combination that flowed like water. A series of cuts and thrusts that had taken her years to master. Each blow found its mark, and with each strike the creature became more translucent, more desperate. "Please," it gasped, its multiple voices now reduced to a single pitiful whisper. "I can give you power, knowledge. I can show you secrets that have been hidden since the dawn of time. I already have everything I need," Blair replied, raising her blade for what she sensed would be the final strike. "I have myself." The creature's last words were lost in a sound like wind through autumn leaves, and then it was gone, leaving only the faint scent of ozone and the memory of cold light fading from the darkness. Blair stood alone in the forest, her blade still gleaming with that strange inner light. The oppressive atmosphere had lifted, and she could hear the normal sounds of the night returning. Owls calling, small creatures moving through the underbrush, the distant howl of a wolf. She sheathed her weapon and began walking back toward the forest's edge, her steps lighter than they had been in weeks. Behind her the shadows were just shadows again, and the darkness held no more menace than any ordinary night. But as she reached the tree line she paused and looked back. The forest was peaceful now, but she knew there would be other creatures, other challenges. The world was vast and full of things that most people couldn't even imagine. "Let them come," she whispered to the night wind. "I'll be ready." And with that, Blair Dame walked back into the world of light and civilization, carrying with her the knowledge that some battles are won not with strength alone, but with the unshakable belief in one's own worth. The creature had been right about one thing: she was strong, but it had been wrong about everything else. She was not prey, she was not a victim, she was Blair Dame, and she had never lost a fight. The forest whispered its agreement as she disappeared into the night, and the shadows, now empty of malevolence, settled back into their eternal dance with the moonlight above.